Today on Heavy Metal Frequency, I'm talking about Opeth, Damnation, which is the second part of the Deliverance Damnation double album. I meant to do this earlier, but it took me forever to get another copy of this. This is my second copy of Damnation, and I'm still working on getting all the old stuff I used to have when I was a teenager and everything, and all the old albums and stuff. This is one of them, and Deliverance was the first part of the double album. It was released in 2002, and it was the heavier Stockholm death metal plus other stuff album. And then Damnation is the lighter stuff. Michael Ockerfeld's grandmother died when they were working on this, and so these two albums, and so it was a lot on them mentally in order to work on these albums and everything. And so this is it's just an interesting note that I forgot to mention during the Deliverance review. And so this is not a metal album, and so don't go into this expecting a metal album. This was kind of commercially successful for them because it wasn't like death metal and stuff. And the genres on here are like a lighter form of progressive rock. It reminds me of later period Beatles, kind of like Sgt. Pepper, like a chill version of Sgt. Pepper's, the White Album era Beatles, and so it has kind of the psychedelic trippiness of that. And so, but this is primarily, I'd say it's a progressive rock album, and there are some other genres here as well, some jazz fusion, some Latin jazz more so. A little bit of shoegaze. The song Death Whispered a Lullaby is the hardest song on here. It has a shoegaze guitar solo, which isn't metal, but it's really, really cool. Some psychedelic rock elements, some controlled feedback. It's cool. Window Pane is really, really chill. It has a really nice rhythm section. The interplay between the bass and the drums are really, really cool. And so the guitar solos that are on here are fantastic. I really, really like a lot of the guitar riffs and solos on this album. And so in My Time of Need is a little bit different. It has a little bit of that, not necessarily like a 70s wall of sound vibe, but it has this light, delicate, classical vibe with some violin parts on the album. And for some reason, it reminds me of the 70s wall of sound techniques. And it just does. And so Hope Leaves is my favorite song on here. It was the first song I ever learned to play on bass. It's about depression, pretty much. And so the bass line on here was really memorable. I love the really catchy. I love the guitar parts. It's really, really cool. To Rid the Disease is also really, really cool. It has a Beatles vibe to it. The interplay, there's some nice piano parts on here towards the end of the song. The guitar riffs are excellent. Ending credits is like almost like a Santana-esque song. It has kind of like a Carlos Santana vibe to it, or like that Latin jazz stuff. It's like that Latin jazz fusion type stuff that Aldi Meola and Carlos Santana do. It's really, really cool, and it's an instrumental song. It's supposed to be like music that's underscoring credits at the end of the movie, And Weakness is the final track. Doesn't fit the album quite as much. It's like a restrained version of psychedelic rock mixed with some pop music, and there are some pop elements on here and there. And so it's a really good song. It takes a little bit more to get into than the rest of the album, and that's pretty much it. This is a fantastic prog rock and other stuff album. I'd say this is one of a lot of their progressive rock stuff. To me, kind of falls onto the combination of progressive rock and jazz fusion, but the jazz fusion elements on here aren't quite as prevalent. So I just say this is progressive rock, psychedelic rock, maybe like a prog rock, psychedelic rock hybrid. And I really, really like this. I hope you pick up a copy. And this is the second part of the Deliverance Damnation double album. And thank you. And next up is more Opeth. Thank you. Bye.